Will a whole foods plant-based diet reverse heart disease?
Oh, getting onto this one.
Well,
This is a
this
fun
this
one.
is the one that's really, it's a big claim because when we look at
Yeah.
heart disease, the leading killer, if we can reverse it, holy moly, that's, I don't know how many years of life we can add to an average person, but that it's, a fair bit. And
Yeah.
like, where do you stand on that in a nut? Like, what is your thoughts?
Yeah, fine. Yeah. Basically, I'm of the belief that if you take like a zoom out holistic view of what heart disease is, which of course, like every time I talk about this, it makes a certain group of people very angry, but that's okay. If you look at the whole picture and the studies of what happens on a plant-based diet, even, I mean, people that are eating like 99% vegan, which applies to people who would be eating fully vegan. So it's more or less interchangeable depending on which particular study and which particular claim you're making. But the idea is that we're able to get a way lower rate of adverse events. We're able to see people's artery function ridiculously improve. And I am of the belief that we're able to see scans reverse the severity. And that's where I end up talking about stenosis flow reserve, which is where they, used those angiograms to map out how much a lesion is probably restricting blood flow, and they found a statistically significant reverse or lowering of that stenosis flow reserve, which is, in my opinion, reversal of the actual physical heart disease in the artery. Yes, I want to see better imaging. I would love to see a randomized control trial putting people on a whole food vegan diet or whichever vegan diets people want to compare and doing the full scans of the ultrasound within the artery and on and on and on. But I still believe that between all the studies that we have showing that the actual state as a whole is being reserved and you can get in or is being reversed and you can get into some gray areas and say, what's symptom reversal versus actual disease reversal. And it's like if you're having 60% less adverse events and you're seeing improvement that's actually improvement from somebody's body improving on its own and to a degree that is very meaningful, measured from several angles, then I view that as reversal. There are people who say we have to have advanced imaging randomized control trials showing actual plaque volume shrinkage. Otherwise, it's a no-go. And these angiograms where you see it clear up, that might just be a fluke. Someone might have been reading it wrong, or on and on. There's a bunch of different excuses people have for that. But I mean, I personally see angiograms over and over again, talk to cardiologists, and they believe it. I mean, you look at somebody. A lot of the argument also was what do these experts actually agree, which became a point of debate. But looking at somebody like Kim Williams, he's co-authoring papers saying a plant-based diet reverses heart disease due to this entire paragraph of evidence that we have in the literature. And he's, former president of the American College of Cardiology. And he wanted to he wanted to kind of play the fence a little bit and see where things landed during the actual debates. And he never gave his official opinion on this matter. But you've seen, I mean, he's in writing co-authored saying it reverses it. So it's hard, it's hard because, and then we have, Dr. Ornish and his colleagues who are cardiologists, in the Lancet hasn't been retracted. The title is, it's talking about it, reversing heart disease. So it comes down to if you've never actually seen the reversal of the disease before, where do you actually pin the line at the definition? And that's a massive discussion and debate unto itself. So I think it's fair if someone wants to say, look, I don't believe it reverses heart disease until I see advanced imaging showing, clinical, randomized control trials past a certain degree of, lower volume. But at the end of the day, even if you were able to lower volume, but you weren't able to lower inflammation or something like that, then you could just have a smaller lesion pop and boom anyway, or like maybe your plaques would be less stable. Like you could even argue that you could have some plaque shrinkage and not reversal. So there's always an argument against reversal of anything. But for me, it's like there's enough stuff for me to cautiously make the claim that it's possible. I don't think it's good to make the claim that it's expected, but I think it's legit to make the claim that it's something that is you're going to be better off doing that diet than not by by a massive factor. And that is supported by a lot of data, in my humble opinion. So that's how I roll, artery function and on and on and on, all of these things.
Do you think amongst all that, cause it's like people like Ornish and Esselstyn that are running these studies, they clearly have a bias towards plant based, and that doesn't by any means mean that the study is conducted badly, because it depends on the method. Are they using a third party? But do you think people are quite wary of the study because they're thinking these authors might have a confirmation bias?